Ladies and gentlemen, there is an ancient proverb about the game of chess, and it says, chess is a sea so vast that in it a gnat may drink and an elephant may bathe. And that's exactly how I feel about the garbage games that some of you extremely brave volunteers send in to me. Make no mistake, both I and players even stronger than myself play absolutely catastrophic games of chess. But sometimes y'all submit these games to me that are just so bad that I think they're fake. And sometimes I've caught a few liars. People have sent me games that they played against their friends. They're definitely not real games. I look for games with a crescendo of action, a back and forth like a movie. You never know what's coming. When's the villain going to be defeated? Well, in today's video, I will be sharing with you a game that I actually dug up from no less than 8 months ago. This was sent to me in July 2022 by a subscriber named Nevin, and this game was spectacular. Buckle up. Throw me up on your smart TV or a refrigerator or a microwave or wherever you can broadcast chess nowadays. And let's go. Let's get rolling. Nevin is with the white pieces from Serbia. Enzo is with the black pieces from, I believe that's Argentina. And Enzo apparently is 106 years old because as you know, any number that you put in your username means your age. So you can put 10,000 and that is now how old you are. This game begins in a very normal way. No, it doesn't. E4. You know, recently I had a game that went 4 nights. It was just like this. This was, and that was a 200 elo game of chess. But black plays knight f6. So Enzo plays knight f6 right away. Now, the move knight f6 is only okay if you're actually playing the Aljochin's defense, which after e5, black goes here, and then tries to attack the center like this, and is kind of okay jumping around a lot. But based on the next few moves, I am willing to bet black has absolutely no idea how to play the Aljochin's defense and just played an incorrect first move. I think black is trying to play a Peer's defense with d6 and g6. And that's very clear to me because black does this. Now, if you can attack an opponent's knight and either force it to go back to its home square or out to the edge of the board, it's probably a good move. Now, there is an opening called the North Sea defense or the rat, and it goes like this, and then the knight goes to g7, and Magnus Carlsen has played this before. No, I'm not just calling Magnus Carlsen a rat. He has played this opening before. But this is not the same thing. It's not the same thing because white actually hasn't played d4 yet. It's close. I guess it could transpose. But white goes f4. Now black plays d6. So black was playing, trying to play King's Indian Peered setup the whole time. So just start with d6. But I got news for you. It very quickly goes from bad to worse. I mean, white is playing great. I love what white is doing. I think white, you know, being my subscriber, must be a Vienna practitioner. But again, I also implore you, folks, just because you play the Vienna gambit against these two moves and f4, that does not mean you can play e4, f4, knight c3 against literally everything. You just can't do that. I know you're not going to listen to me, all right? But I'm going to keep telling you, just like your parents, if you don't do this, you're not going to do well in school. You don't do well in school, you won't go to good college. You won't get a good job, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's a snowball effect. So, yeah, okay, d6, knight f3, and now, of course, black should just play bishop g7 and castle, and we have a very combative and interesting game. Instead of that, Enzo plays bishop h6. Now, moving the bishop out that far is basically never good. It's good like one time in 50, if even that. I mean, the bishop belongs on g7. Why? Because here it's just much more susceptible to being traded, not to mention to being attacked. The bishop needs to be there. Why is it a problem if the bishop is traded? Well, if the bishop is traded, why'd you make all these weaknesses? I mean, it's like breaking holes in the wall of your house and not putting windows in. It's just a big draft and mosquitoes. God, mosquitoes are awful. So now black has to go bishop g7, which just doesn't, I mean, you know they're 900s because at least by some miracle of God, they saw that the bishops see each other, which if they were even 300 points lower rated, black would have played here and white would have gone here, and this game would have ended in 10 moves, and we never would have gotten a YouTube video out of it. So, black goes here, but why is black going there when black could have just went there in the first place? Why are we wasting time? We got to our desired position, but We got there with 3 wheels instead of 4. One fell off while we were on the highway. Now white takes on g6. Now, what I don't like about this position, this move I understand the appeal of because you're looking to trade. What I am now going to caution you with is you need to finish your development. You are not castled. You are not in a position to attack anybody because you're not castled, all right? So you got to play something like bishop 2e2 and at least get your king to safety. Or in the game, bishop e3, queen d2 and get your king to safety. Do something like this. Just get the king out of the way and then you can start, throwing bombs. Bishop e3. Computer says black is better because apparently black can go knight g4. They're 900. They don't know that. a6. All right. Now, of course, finish the development. This is a terrible move. Knight d5 is just not good. This is not a good move. First of all, what does that mean? Like, in chess, there is a conceptual reason a move is bad and a concrete reason that a move is bad. That move is bad because black can just take, and then black can just win a pawn. And black's just going to be a pawn up. Now, conceptually, what's wrong with the move knight d5? You cannot explain what it does. Number one, you just don't have, you cannot explain what it does. Can't explain. Maybe white could, if I got him on here on a Zoom call, which I don't plan to do. But that's number one. Number two, you're breaking the principles of chess. Your king's in the center. What are you doing? Why are you going to battle with the knight and then not knight, you're losing one of your only pieces that's out and you're not getting anything good in return. There are winners and losers in trades all the time. All right. So, but black goes c6. All right. Black doesn't even see that. And now white is actually winning. There's an incredible move here, which if you are a good subscriber of mine, you'll find. White did not find it. White is not a good subscriber of mine. The point is that the knight is hanging. So, of course, white did this. But danger levels. Every time a pawn moves, you got to think, oh, that pawn moved, right? And now you're like, oh, it's attacking my knight. I'm just going to take. Easy. But that's not like I am urging you to do better than that because that weakens that and danger levels. And now anywhere the queen moves, the next move is knight c7 and the rook is just completely trapped. Completely trapped. Black has to go here, losing the rook for the knight. The engine here is so disgusting. It says don't even take. But just take. Just take the rook and come back and be up in exchange. I don't care if the computer says that's not the best way to play. All right? You did a great job. All right? So, knight takes f6, bishop f6. And, of course, even though the trade happens this way, white still finds a way to blunder the pawn. Terrific. Again, this is obviously not good. Please don't play chess like this. Anytime a piece stands on a square, you got to think, what can they do to me? You're only thinking for yourself. You're not thinking, what can they do to me? You're not thinking the other way around. There's a person on the other side of the board trying to beat you, right? Queen d2. Think about getting in a fight with a person on the street. I don't recommend doing this. I've never had this, except when I was like 11 years old. I fought a kid. I was also little. We fought each other on the street. It was hilarious. I got punched. He got wrestled down. So according to the UFC judges, I won the fight. Anyway, and imagine you're in a fight, but you're not looking at what the other person is. You're just swinging. You're gonna call the cops on you, send you to a psychiatric ward. This is not right. This is not good. And it very quickly goes from bad to worse. Now here, I think basically my subscriber decided, all right, look, I could play the natural move, which is rook b1, or I could try to make it into a Gotham video and do something brilliant. So I'm gonna go bishop d4. I am hoping to the gods that my sub saw that the rook could get taken. But I think his idea was that now this is open. It's actually a very creative idea. And the point is that let's say something like this, and you got mate coming. Now, of course, my subscriber missed this move, after which he's completely lost. That move completely blocks the bishop, which means there is no attack, and you are just down a big amount of material. You can still try to play moves like d4, which is exactly what he did. Now here, the move pawn takes d4 would be a horrible mistake. All right? Not all trades are equal. It's not one for one. There's mate coming. You try to stop one mate, you might get mated in the corner. All right? This is like a very common oversight. So I love here Enzo, despite being 106 years of age, plays bishop g4. Keeps the tension. I love that. Now, of course, computer always has some argument. Bishop g4. Now we have pawn takes. We have pawn takes. And this move loses on the spot, but it's very hard to see why. You're much more likely to see this. Yeah, the reason is, and this is why you always look for checks, literally in this position is exactly why you always look for checks. Always look for checks, because they might win you the game. In this position, white has 2 checks. One of them loses the queen, but the other one is unblockable because you'll take with the bishop. And if the king goes here, you go here. And black's king can no longer run. He has to block with the rook. You win the queen. You win everything. So a check might even accidentally win you the game. I don't mean that you have to play a check if it's there, but you have to see the check because you never know. Anyway, of course, that doesn't happen. If it happened, this wouldn't have been a video. Queen h6. And now black starts firing away on the other side of the board and is completely lost again. Okay, so we're getting there, right? Bishop c4 is plus 13. Now it's minus 4. Now it's, you know, plus a million again. Excuse me, I'm getting a phone call. Got some food outside. Hello? Yeah, just leave it at the door, please. Thank you. There you go. I've never done that before. First time for everything. You just witnessed history. A food delivery call on this channel. That's my coffee, by the way. I got a little coffee, a little breakfast. I'm exhausted. I'm recording this game, no coffee. This is my coffee. Oh, God. This is also my therapy. So, queen b6. Coming down to b1. Bishop c4 could win you the game by accident again. But again, remember how like 7 moves ago or whatever, after bishop a1, I told you white just only like thinks about g7, right? So everything that white is doing now is about the g7 square. To white, no other squares exist, just g7. Now we have queen a5 check. And finally, if white just blocks the check, white wins. Because this is coming and queen g7 and that's it. I mean, game is over. But then this would not be a YouTube video. Instead of that, we have knight to d2, tragically removing the guard of the bishop. And now it's over. Now it's over because white has absolutely no attack. There is no mate. You can check me. Now, admittedly, if I go here, I blunder mate in 1, which you never know. Always look for checks. But the bishop would just come back to e6. So white plays h3, and the game is over. Black wins. Black wins the game because even though the bishop is hanging, black finds that they can check the white king by going... Oh! Okay! Game on, dudes and dudettes. Let's go. Queen g3. That was mate in 1. That was game over right there. Boom. And it was closer, too. But I guess humans are inclined to, you know, go to the right. Check. That also looks like mate, by the way. But by the miracle of the chess gods, it's mate. A king has no moves. But the knight blocks. Check. King d2. Now, this whole video is in reference to the white king. I would like you to now pay attention to the journey of the white king. King d2. Rook f2. King d3. Queen takes is a check. Queen d1 is a check. Queen b5 is a check. Okay. King runs out to the center. Don't go here. That hangs a rook. Pawn check, queen check, and don't hang your queen. Nice. Oh my god. Oh my god. e1. Dancing around the back rank, and now we are going up. Queen c5 is mate in 1, and you just made that move, so this is right there. But you can also get your knight in the game, and you also have this queen check, and you also have this queen check, and that queen check. Oh, we don't find it. He doesn't find it. Now, the only legal move is here. King to d6. The only legal move. King d6. Incredible. And rook f6 is a check. Pawn to c5 is a check. Rook to d2 is even a check. And even if you lose it, I think you have a mate somewhere on c5. And that's exactly what happens. Rook d2. Black blunders the rook. All right? Queen takes d2 is right there. And I don't think black did that on purpose. But the bishop blocks. And now, king keeps going. The king has now traversed the entire board. He has climbed to the tallest room of the tallest tower. He has scaled the mountain, and he now suffers his fate. By trial, by tribulation, it is checkmate multiple ways if the queen slides over by accident to one of these two squares. The bishop guards the knight. The queen will be guarded on either square. The game is over, and black delivers the fatal blow with queen d8. Okay. Only legal move, king to d6. Now, what's funny is you can actually repeat moves here and do it again. You can try one more time. Oh, that wasn't made. All right, let me do that one more time. But black plays this. Okay, that's fine. There is still an M on the evaluation scale. But suddenly, king takes c5. Folks, those of you who are keenly observing and are not just putting me on in the background because you think I'm funny and good filler and watching my videos as a part of your day, I do sincerely thank you very much. You are what they call lurkers on Twitch. You just sort of hang out. You don't have to write anything. You don't beg the streamer, the creator for the attention. You might not always interact, but you're always there listening in the background and enjoying yourselves. And I do appreciate you very much, because if you think about the math of YouTube, the video has 1 million views. It has something like 30,000 likes. That's a massive chunk removed from 1 million views. And there might only be like 1,000 comments. We get really good engagement on my videos. A lot of you comment, talk about my stare, other things. But think about that. That is a tiny fraction. 99% of viewers don't complain. They just enjoy the show. So I thank you sincerely for being part of that 99%. Just like in society and economics and whatnot, right? Anyway, king takes c5, and the king is running back. I think those of you who are keenly observing the screen are about to pick up on something. The white king ran. He ran so far away. I just ran. Don't copyright strike me. I'm not singing Flock of Seagulls, so I'm not using that song. It's over. Even if the king has made it all the way back, the game is over. King is back on c1. This move is winning. Even this move, sacrificing a rook, is winning because the attack is so strong. All right? But can we just get an instant replay of that? The white king went from e1 to d2 to d3 to d4 to e5 to d6 to e7 to d6 to c5 to b4 to b3 to b2 to c1. I mean, are you kidding me? This dude did the cardio for the whole team. Unbelievable stuff. And he is still losing. Despite that entire cardio journey, he's still losing because he's got an overzealous queen and he's got a rook who's asleep in his bunker. He's not actually up to help the king. Bishop c2. Queen e3. I think you might have just seen the eval shoot up. That's because after sacrificing the rook on the c2 square, black needed to just be patient for a moment and then regroup and finish off the attack. But the problem is, black spent the entire game hunting the king. And by this point in the game, black had no time. See, black was so bewildered by the king run strategy that black malfunctioned. Black went on to lose the rook, the queen, and then the rook again. In 3 moves, black lost 5, 14, 19 points of material, and then another 3, and then lost the game. Queen d8 check. It's not checkmate. Black resigned because black could not believe what the heck that they just witnessed. Once again, in this game, there was checkmate in 1. There was checkmate in many, 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 many sets of 2 and 3. There was checkmate in 1. There was checkmate in 2 and 3. There was mate in 1. And the white king walked forward and marched all the way back. And then white regrouped, won all of the black pieces, and then won the game. You know what the lesson is here? The lesson in this game is that when you are chasing down a king, don't just attack the king, attack the squares that it's trying to go to. Because as I keep telling all of you, in chess there are 2 players. There might be 3 if your opponent is cheating. But in chess, there are two players, and your opponent is looking to escape via certain squares. And if you don't cover those squares while attacking their king, you are a selfish player. So, be better. You will gain as much elo as the chess gods demand of you. That made no sense. Get out of here.